If you want to make a lot of money, you must live your life as if you're going to make a lot of money. It does not simply imply buying the most expensive cars or flying in the most flashy planes. It also means moving to a postcode where the mailman will be happy to deliver your mail. After all, nothing says rich like having a high-end area surrounded by other affluent people. There may not be many rich and exclusive districts nearby, but if you want to live like a millionaire, you must choose carefully. So, what are the world's most expensive areas, and where are you going to live after you've made your first couple of billions? Welcome to Luxurious Vibe. Let's go over the list of the most expensive neighborhoods in the world. Number 1. Knightsbridge, London. Knightsbridge is one of the most expensive residential streets in the whole city, with average property prices reaching £15.6 million, 33 times the cost of the average London house, and that's saying a lot, given that London is already one of the most expensive locations to live in the world. Knightsbridge has a population of somewhat more than 25,000 people, with an average family income of roughly £55,000. You know how much money you need to make to live here in a home, even though typical property prices might reach $9,000 per square foot. Being homeless here, I'm sure, would not be cheap. Developers have capitalized on Knightsbridge's prominence, filling the area with a variety of 5-star hotels, designer stores, luxury vehicle depots, and a few embassies, since even governments couldn't pass up this luxury. Knightsbridge also has beautiful homes and posh clubs, and it's close to the famous Hyde Park, which is a plus. It's no wonder that this location has attracted a number of celebrities, including David and Victoria Beckham, Kylie Minogue, and 2 Rolling Stones members, to mention a few. This neighborhood wasn't always so glitzy, but after a couple of centuries of much-needed government-sponsored renovations, it's become one of the most exclusive residential districts, home to the enormous, prestigious One Hyde Park, and even worthy of making this king's luxury list. Number 2. Avenue Montaigne. If you want to live an affluent, refined life in Paris, then this is the area for you. In the last 350 years, some of the world's richest and most famous people have moved into this super exclusive neighborhood in Paris's 8th arrondissement. This means that this area is not only rich in luxury, but also rich in cultural significance. Avenue Montaigne wasn't always that exclusive and pricey, but it now has an average price of $26,000 per square meter, and is loaded with jewelers and upmarket designers, and I mean truly posh. This street's jeweler was robbed of more than $108 million in diamond rings, necklaces, and luxury watches in 2008. This is the kind of jewelry that can only be found in the most exclusive boutiques in the most elite districts or in the back of a shady van. Avenue Montaigne is also the location of the magnificent Hotel Plaza Athénée, a 120-year-old grand hotel with 154 rooms and 54 luxury suites. A single night at this hotel may cost up to $20,000, and that's just for the room. In typical French fashion, this hotel has a lot of great restaurants that all cost the same. Number 3. Atherton, California. One of the most expensive places to live in the United States is tucked away in a small, quiet village near San Francisco. Even small homes there sell for millions of dollars. Some of the richest people in the world live in Atherton, which also has some of the biggest estates owned by Silicon Valley's biggest companies. This is likely to stay the case for a long time, since the average house sells for $7 million. No, honestly, the typical mortgage price in this city is $5.5 million. Don't go just yet. Atherton may seem peaceful and exclusive, but it may not be the right location for you. By purchasing property in the region, low spenders like Oracle founder Larry Ellison and Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen can enjoy all Atherton has to offer. 307 Walsh Street, a lovely piece of real estate valued at roughly $5 million, is on the lower end of Atherton's opulence. It has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and is around 3,700 square feet in size. On the other side, Atherton's most costly transaction was Paul Allen's huge mansion, which he sold for $35 million. The estate encompasses 1.9 acres and is far bigger than typical residences in the neighborhood, with a main house of around 18,000 square feet and a 2-bedroom guest cottage. Yes, it is as opulent as you would expect a $35 million property in such a posh area to be. Number 4. Ostohenka, Moscow. Russia has its fair share of rich oligarchs and crazily affluent inhabitants who would need someplace to spend their massive fortunes when they aren't buying up all of the premium real estate in the United States. Ostohenka is one of Russia's oldest streets, aged like fine wine and accordingly priced. Ostohenka in particular is the most costly location in Russia. The Kremlin, the Pushkin Museum, and the Cathedral of Christ the Savior are all famous attractions in Ostohenka. It's essentially a tourist paradise as long as you don't attempt to live there. Prices on this street may skyrocket. Several notable housing units have been constructed here during the previous decade. The most expensive apartment ever sold was a $48 million 5-story unit in Crystal House. So, unless you plan on spending a lot of money on your vacation to Russia, I suggest sticking to sightseeing. And what a sight to witness! Ostohenka is home to some of Moscow's most sought-after restaurants and stunning Art Nouveau architecture. And if you stay long enough, you may even get to meet some Russian billionaires. Isn't that exciting? Number 5. Fifth Avenue, New York. The world's richest individuals constantly migrate to New York. I'm not sure why. It could be the food, the weather, or the feeling of wealth that can only be found in New York. You tell me that not every aspect of New York is glamorous, despite the fact that if you take a wrong turn, you may be mugged in a subway. If you take the right turn, you'll be able to experience the attractions of Fifth Avenue, one of New York City's most opulent neighborhoods. People have been coming to Fifth Avenue since the 1900s, and it has historically catered to the exceedingly rich. The average price per square meter for property here is $28,000, and I thought New York was already an expensive place to live. Between 59th and 96th Streets, right across from Central Park, is where the most expensive homes on Fifth Avenue are. Who wouldn't willingly pay millions to live near Central Park? Fifth Avenue is also one of the most expensive places to rent a store or office space in the world. Because of this, only the most expensive and luxurious brands are found here, like Armani and Ermenegildo Zegna. That's a lovely little extra. Some of the most well-known buildings in the United States are also on Fifth Avenue. These include the Empire State Building and Rockefeller Center. We aim to bring you videos about luxury and fine living and create a community for luxury enthusiasts. If you like the video so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Number 6. Chemin de Ruth, Geneva. Switzerland and Monaco are two nations you knew would be on this list. I'm pleased to inform you that you were accurate. Of course, a Swiss suburb would make the cut, and as for Monaco, well, you'll just have to wait and see. The famous Chemin de Route may be found in the heart of Switzerland's colony, on the beaches of Lake Geneva. If you want to live in one of the neighborhood's mansions, be prepared to spend a lot of money. Property prices here average about $37,000 per square meter, which isn't exactly unexpected. I mean, most of the mansions here have more land than most other streets in the area. Pools, and they come with landscape gardens with massive swimming pools. And thanks to the town's strategic location, they also get to overlook a beautiful lake and enjoy views of Geneva's famous Jet d'Eau. With all of these considerations considered, the record price for a property on this street is, of course, $36 million. I wouldn't expect anything less unless I was purchasing. Number 7. Patterson Hill, Singapore. Singapore has evolved dramatically into one of the richest nations in Asia, which means they have more than their fair share of luxury sites, which is where Patterson Hill comes in. This cul-de-sac, which is often called Singapore's Millionaire's Row, has some of the most expensive homes in the country. In the famous District 9, the average price per square meter is $4,200. A residential neighborhood next to the famed Orchard Road shopping belt. This location is home to a number of designer retailers and Michelin-starred restaurants. The most costly condominium available here is called The Mark. And to put it simply, this is an address that speaks for itself. The Mark was built to meet the need for large, luxurious living spaces in Singapore's huge city, as well as to allow very wealthy people to pay for these large, luxurious living spaces. There's no other site in Singapore quite like the Mark, with its furnishings designed by Hermes and a private lap pool in each unit. Surprisingly, Patterson Hill is there. This place is fancy enough to attract Eduardo Saverin, who helped start Facebook, and Rachel Coombe, who used to be Miss Singapore, so you know it's the real deal. Number 8. Avenue Princess Grace, Monaco. Who are we kidding? Monaco, of course, will be included on this list. Not only does this country host the F1 Grand Prix and the annual Monaco Boat Show, but it is also full of real estate that costs a fortune. There's even the world's most expensive penthouse. The Odeon Tower's Sky Penthouse is here, so of course it's a melting pot for Europe's ultra-affluent. According to reports, over 35 of every 100 Monaco inhabitants are millionaires. They'll have to find a way to spend all of that money. Avenue Princess Grace is the ideal location, and with an average property price of $86,000 per square meter, it won't be difficult to spend your entire budget here. This area isn't simply costly because it's Monaco. That helps, but this neighborhood also has some fantastic homes. At its peak, the street's prices exceeded $135,000 per square meter, which is simply insane. Monaco, after all, is not the world's biggest nation due to space limitations. Most of these luxurious properties are currently only available for rent, but don't let that deceive you into believing how exclusive this area is if you want to live here. To start, you have to get permission to live in Monaco, which is not something that just any rich person can do. You must show that you have a place to live in Monaco, which is a big step, since some of us can't even afford a single square foot of this country's real estate. You must also open a bank account and put at least 500,000 euros in it. Yeah, good luck finding a home on Avenue Princess Grace. Number 9. Kensington Palace Gardens, London. Many people refer to it as London's Billionaire's Row, since the residents are very wealthy and live in luxurious mansions. This is without a doubt one of the world's most costly communities. It had better be when your next-door neighbors are genuine royalty. In this city, the average price per square meter of a home is a huge $107,000. For goodness sake, homes here regularly sell for as much as $195 million. The advent of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge didn't make things any cheaper, as it turns out. They had their own palace built up here even before they were born. It's named Kensington Palace, thus the neighborhood's name. Isn't it an incredible flex when your whole neighborhood is named after your house? The French, Russian, and Japanese embassies, and a number of very wealthy millionaires all live in this very exclusive area. Rich individuals like Indian-born steel magnate Lakshmi Mittal, who owns numbers 9A and 1819, and Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich, who owns Chelsea Football Club and resides next door at number 17. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, together with their 3 children, are by far the most renowned residents on this street. Even if Kensington Palace is legally not on the same street, nobody cares. Not when you can gesture down the road and say, "That's where my neighbors, the English monarchy, reside." Number 10. Pollock's Path, The Peak, Hong Kong. One of the most expensive neighborhoods in the world is right here in Hong Kong. It looks out over Hong Kong Island and Victoria Harbor, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the great views are the only reason it's so expensive. The top has been loved by some of Hong Kong's richest individuals for quite some time now, and the average price for property per square meter here is a staggering $120,000. So of course, they'd want to come here. Prices in this region have risen due to the sleek new structures and high-end residences, and it's also gorgeous and peaceful. In 2015, it was believed that Jack Ma, the Chinese billionaire who created Alibaba, acquired a $191 million property here. And although the reports were never proven, such purchases aren't exactly out of the ordinary in this area. A few years ago, Hong Kong movie star Stephen Chow tried his hand at creating a mansion in this prestigious and sought-after neighborhood. Sky High, a high-end residential complex, was a big success, as predicted. In 2011, he smashed the record with a $103 million sale. The former French embassy at 8 Pollux Path sold for $75 million the same year. It's something I've stated before and will say again. When it comes to true luxury, even governments can't help themselves. So which of these areas will you be relocating to next? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy similar stuff, check out my other videos. And if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.